Sorry, you guys watch me fumble over buttons. There we go. It wouldn't be a Rifkin cast if I nailed all those on the first try. Alright, so welcome back. It's a best of 5 going on currently. It's the semifinals match between these two players. Again, what's happening today, guys? Everybody is already invited to the tournament. Everybody playing today is welcome to come to Home Stork Cup 9. The difference is, though, the top 1 finisher, the first place for today, is a fully paid trip, a fully paid flight. That's not an easy, not a small, cheap thing by any stretch of the imagination, especially when you consider either a Korean or someone like Polt from North America could actually win this. If you've never looked up flights from, like, say, Canada to DreamHack, I can tell you from fantasizing about it myself, it is very expensive. But without further ado, spawning here in the top left corner of the map from Samsung Galaxy, playing from Korea, it is the blue Protoss player Stork. His opponent in the upper right, CM Storm Zone, the red Terran Polt. Whoop whoop. So there's going to be a little bit of server swapping between these games, guys. Currently we're on the North American server, but that will rotate. So it'll go North America, Korea, and North America for the final and last one, if it goes to game number 5. I think a lot of people are favoring Polt coming into this, but we really can't count Stork down and out by before the series even begins. He's a really talented player. We've got to see him do some pretty cool tactics throughout Pro League. And he just took down Yoda like Yoda was nobody at all. And Yoda's not nobody at all. Yoda is a very talented player. So Polt has got to make sure he does not underestimate his opponent. If he does, he'll have a bad time. Now Polt is actually... I can't speak the specifics of his TVP currently. For example, we've seen Joxi hundreds of thousands of times through a combination Acer Team Stork Cup, IEM, as well as the Go for StarCrafts and Zotacs. Polt used to be the king of Zotac for Heart of the Swarm. He's the only person in history to knock off Hyun. But then he disappeared, and a big part of that was training for WCS, making sure that he would be the WCS America finisher like 3 or 4 seasons almost in a row. So he's had, oops, sorry, I hit my microphone. He's had quite a bit of success, but looks like that success will be followed up here today and represented through scouting information. I'm very excited about this. Yoda, a little bit, dare I say, reluctant to do scouting in that last series. Polt perhaps going to be a little more diligent, but is the sounds off? Oh, it sounds off. That was sorry. It sounded really weird to me, really foreign. Swapping servers, I guess I wasn't ready for the sounds to be on. Anyways, I like the Reaper coming out, but we also like the way Stork opened this up. Again, just by placing these 2 buildings the way he has the 2 pylons, much less the gateway and the cybercore, it completely walls this Reaper out from getting behind it. We also have an engineering bay block coming down. We'll talk about that more in a second, but it's this 3rd pylon that Polt's going to have to draw the most attention to. If he scouts this... This is really suspicious in and of itself. Typically, you have a pylon over there as a Protoss player because you want to be able to catch medevac drops later on. You want that scouting information. But also, that's a great spot to sneak in a Stargate. Now, this proxy, or not proxy, the engineering bay block, because technically it's a proxy, is kind of a nice move too. Typically in TVP, Mothership Core, Stalker, and Zealot, they walk across the map without being chrono boosted out, even without a Stellar. The Stalker and the Mothership Core, 2 Stalkers in the Mothership Core, they come across the map and they're a big nuisance. Terran players typically can't deal with it without a bunker, and Marine production's usually not high enough to deal with it too effectively. But what this does is not only just delay the Nexus a little bit, not a big deal, of course, this will get cleaned up in due time, but it leaves the Mothership Core and the Stalker here shooting at it, rather than going across the map and shooting the face of Polt. So again, he'll just cancel this. It's a very low-cost investment, and what this does is it doesn't buy him much more than time, and time is sometimes all you need in TVP. Reference back to every time a Terran player's been like 10 seconds shy of stim finishing for an engagement, or maybe 2 seconds shy of finishing a bunker before the Stalker comes across the ramp. So, for Polt, I'd say it's a nice move. Now, back at home, we do see the potential Stargate. No, he's actually, he's just going to throw down Warp Gates again. Stork did do a bit of Warp Gate pressure versus Yoda earlier today, but of course he was able to turn it into a little bit more of a all-in situation due to that probe. Freaking King Sejong Station, but yeah, 3 gateways is nothing too crazy at the moment. 4 gateways is a little bit worrisome, but nothing that you desperately need to scout. Unfortunately, the Reaper was killed, so that's not going to be an opportunity any longer, but yeah, 4 gates, 2 bases, it's pressure, it's not an all-in. You can turn it into an all-in very quickly if you choose to do absolutely nothing behind it, granted, but probably not going to be the all-in. Not unless he busts through this first bunker. Oh, the bunker's coming down a little bit delayed, though. However, this will actually time out because the pylon's also really delayed. Of course, Stork's not going to want to go in there with just 3 stalkers. He's going to wait till he's got a couple more, and as warp gates finish up too, he'll be able to warp in a bunch. He doesn't have a lot of minerals right now worth noting, but he'll have enough to really get this army going. Stim halfway finished, won't be ready for the fight. Now, the nice thing too, there are no sentries for this currently. So, Storm actually goes for a scan. Sees no army at the natural, because why would you ever leave it in the main? So this is a little bit worrisome. He sends a Marine out to scout. Fortunately, he's going to die, but he'll reveal that this is the case, and SCVs are going to get pulled. Otherwise, they may not have been pulled into this. However, they get a little bit late. Will they be able to keep this bunker alive is going to be the big question. Goes towards the main, expecting something else, perhaps an Oracle, I don't know, but the bunker, oh god, the bunker just barely goes down. Second bunker not quite complete yet, but with the SCVs to buffer, these are just stalkers. With Marauders at the top of the ramp, if he had Stim, he'd be able to push this back without any issue whatsoever, but with this Time Warp, he's struggling to dance through this. The range is a little too much, and this bunker should actually stand. We got a couple, actually, the sentry came out a little late. If he had gotten that in time, of course he would have kept a lot of those away from even going in the bunker in the first place, but yeah, 1 force field, not enough to stop a bunker. You typically need 2 to keep the SCVs off of it to prevent them from repairing, but nice hold there out of Polt. Nothing too dedicated out of Stork, and nothing really wasted there out of Polt. In fact, only I think, what, a couple SCVs died? Yeah, only a couple SCVs died, not too shabby. Back at home as far as tech goes, we got the Robo facility on the way. I imagine this is, of course, priority uno going to be for detection. You always, I think Protoss players nowadays are always a little bit worried about the potential of Widow Mines. Korean players typically seem to fear them a lot more than Europeans, because we don't see a lot of European Terran players utilizing Widow Mines against Protoss, but it's always something you got to have on the back of your mind. For now, that's not what Polt's doing. He's going to be going for, of course, the medevac production. His upgrade's a little bit off-put due to the fact that he had to invest heavily in that defense, but I also like the turrets coming down. The paranoia turrets. It's a good way to catch observers coming in, but it's also a great way to stop Dark Templar from ruining your life. It is worth noting, guys, while Polt has been undefeated in a lot of events that he partakes in, especially specifically referring to the Zotac Cup here, one of the rare few times he does end up dying is to all-ins. Be it Dark Templar, be it to, well, I guess that's more cheese than all-in, be it to like the Zerg Roach busts. I mean, if you watch him, he's been streaming like crazy lately, and he really does not lose much. But the rare times he does, it's I think what everybody flocks to. Like, how do you beat the unbeatable Polt? Oh, he lost one time? I heard a rumor? Let's go find out. Stork, though, looking pretty good as far as defense goes. Again, the Mothership Core's got enough energy to overcharge. She's got force fields to keep these units on the ramp, and there's no medevacs out, really. There's 2 coming across the map, but this army, if it goes in without them, they may get trapped on the top of that ramp, and that could be very dangerous for Pulse. He scans forward, though. He knows what's up. I guess he was just hoping to bait out an overcharge. Stork's not going to fall for it. Is he just going to drop to the main? Wouldn't be a bad choice. There's an observer up here looking for this medevacs, however, it's in the wrong spot, as these are coming from the side. Oh yeah, bets stay open until the end of game 1, guys, so you can get a taste for these guys. It's a best of 5, so you got this first game to get acquainted with them if you don't know them. It's kind of the logic behind it, but yeah, he sees the stalkers, or he saw them, a glimpse of them, so he didn't want to really go in there with the medevacs. I think what Polt's trying to do right now, positionally, is try and bait his opponent to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Nice night up in the observer, by the way. Really key, because now Stork's playing a little bit blinded. The Colossus is out, however, and the new observer's trying to come down to scout, but if it's not careful, it's also going to get sniped off. Polt is a man with X-ray goggles. I'd say Polt and Hart are some of the best observer snipers. I want to say Major, too, but I haven't seen Major play in such a long time. Like, he's been playing, of course, WCS and such, but I don't get the chance to cast him. QQ. And as the Marine, before dying, did see 2 Colossus in this army, a lot of Zealots, and even more Stalkers. For Polt, this is such a scary thing to look at. It's an army supply that does evenly match his, but it's one that's more effective than his. Again, the Colossus with that splash damage is key. But for Stork, you might think, like, why does he just move out? You know, Protoss, throw down some force fields, rock and roll, but he's waiting for that extended thermal lance. He knows the Marauders will just stim into his Colossus and give him the opportunity. However, a little bit exposed, a little bit awkward. A couple force fields going to go down, but the 3 sentries go sniped. Oh my goodness. That's actually going to hurt a lot more than you guys would think. Sentries and force fields are not as prevalent and not as big of a deal as they are versus Zerg, but they are still crucial to have versus Terran. Now, on the other side of the map, we still have this pylon from earlier that was warped in. It looks like Polt never did see it. So there's the potential of counterattacks, possibly. Boosting away from this, though, the Stalkers do blink forward. Always a little bit of a scary decision to make as a Protoss player. You never really want to blink into Marauders. That's never a great choice, but Polt just segmenting off one Marine at a time. He said scouts everywhere on the map. These units that cost 50 minerals, effectively better than Overlords, I guess. Ah, but he sees the pylon this time. He's going to have to pick this off real quick. Alright, gets the probe as well, so no new pylons coming down. He's got to feel pretty good about his solid position in this game. There is a pylon at that watchtower, but these zealots do not have charge. There's no charge tech on the way. It's just a joke trying to run those in his Marauders. But as the fight begins, ooh, a nice Widowmine does go off. It does take the shields away from a lot of these, and we got some hallucinations getting mixed in now, too. This is why Widowmines are being kind of complained about right now, guys. Not only does it one-shot pretty much any unit it targets, shy of an Immortal or a Colossus, but it will also strip the shields pretty much of all the units nearby. Almost like a mini EMP, if you will. It just does that much bonus damage versus shields. But this is still a scary army to look at. The Viking count's not too bad. I love this sort of ring Polt's made for the Vikings, by the way. It's kind of a cute move, but looks like he is going to force the fight. Scans to see one of the hallucinations. Whether he picks up on this or not, we'll have to wait and see. He does spread his units out, trying to get around this, but 2 Time Warps go down, and 2 Time Warps is going to be a little too much for that Bioforce. But the Vikings are focusing down the Colossi. There's 1 Colossus remaining, and the Marauders will walk right on top of these Stalkers. Not even a problem. Zell's coming from the left side, but again, with no charge, have no chance to connect to this. And there's no upgrades for Stork. This is pretty much all in. GG is called, and without a third base and with no upgrades, he's gonna lose to Polt, who I think is gonna be the crowd favorite, of course, but takes game number 1.